dead. That's who. Okay, but why do you sound like a rusty door when you die? Hello, my fellow Tonists. Today I'm here to talk to you about two of my favorite things, blood and fire. And when blood is on fire, and when fire is bleeding, all around a lovely Sunday afternoon. And that lovely Sunday afternoon has just gotten a lot better because of the latest patch. Ding. Yes, indeed, both of these amazing incantations have finally not just been made good, but actually incredibly effective and satisfying to use now. The speed bump on Bloodflame Talons is just awesome, to just rake and rake and rake, exploding forwards, everything falls before you, and the increased speed and damage on Bloodboon Ritual makes it just a fantastic, wide-reaching, long-range damage, blood loss, and general area control tool that are really worth building around. So that's the whole goal today, experimenting with these two newly reborn blood incantations, the Moog specials, and seeing just how good they can actually be with just a little quick and dirty build for them to shine in. I mean, firstly, as you've been seeing, yeah, just the pure damage output is absolutely fantastic. The Bloodboon Ritual is slightly more awkward, slightly harder to use, though as a quick tip, obviously the arc that comes out is curving away from your hand that cast it, so if you have a seal in both hands, then you can actually choose which one to cast it with to get the better arc for the situation you're in. Nice little bit of tech, probably niche, but it's cool that that's actually something worth considering. Now, in terms of how they actually work, in terms of what seal you want to cast them with, well, just the highest incantation scaling going. You don't actually need to go with the arcane seal because it's Bloodflame, which means the blood loss that comes from this isn't just a big chunk that's increased with arcane scaling, it's like Bloodflame Blade, a slow chunk that ticks up over a few seconds. Does about 40 or so, and in rapid succession will take 3 Bloodflame Talons to get a bleed on most enemies. So we just want pure incantation scaling for as much damage as possible. So that's kinda makes things a lot simpler too. Also, in terms of where to get these from, the Bloodflame Talons is from Mini Moog in the sewers, the Omen. Once you reach the bottom, he's the final boss of that area, and he will drop his talons. Bloodboon Ritual, as I imagine you know, is of course one of the incantation rewards from Moog's Bloodlord Remembrance, the main Moog in the Moogwyn Palace. So just trade that in, and job's a good un. These incantations then both deal fire damage. There isn't a seal that directly boosts them especially, but there are lots of ways to boost fire damage in the game in general, and I'm running most of them here. You've of course got your Fire Scorpion, you've got just general incantation boosts from your Talismans, you've got the Flyer tier, Yes, the Flyer tier. Firecracking tier for an extra 20% damage, which is really good, and it all adds up to be quite the potent little pop that comes out really quickly, because with the new cast speed increase, you really can get these things going back to back to back fast. It's not worth using something like Radican's Icon or offhanding Lusat's, which does affect incantations, because the speed increase is negligible with how fast it already is baseline now. So we do have quite flexibility in your talisman slots, which is really good if you're going full blood incantations. Honestly, of course, the best pairing for this entire setup is put on the Moogwyn Spear and, you know, nihil to your life's content with these incantations as backup in situations that you want them. But, of course, today it's focused just on using the newly improved Bloodflame incantations themselves. The Bloodboon Ritual, then, is definitely solid damage, and its bleed build-up is actually incredibly quickly. If you get a big enemy and lots of patches on the ground, they really will bleed a lot, and they will bleed fast. cast, which is of course another reason why one of the talismans that you do want to strongly consider when using them is the Bloodlord's Exaltation and the White Mask helmet to go with it, so you do get that 30% combined damage bump as you keep spamming these incantations out, which is really, really nice. But yeah, the range of Bloodboon and the spread of it cannot be exaggerated. It's a great dragon killer, and it's also really good in PvP if you free aim it. In fact, free aiming this is fantastic in general, because aiming it while locked on, all of the blood tends to drop just in front of the target, and it's really annoying, whereas it's so much in such a big area that you can vaguely aim your camera just above the head of what you want to throw it at, and you'll actually get a really good spread, a really good lot of damage, and that's really, really useful. Other than that, if you ever get an opportunity to bust out Bloodflame Talons and just straight spam them into something, you'll get 3 hits of really respectable damage, then you'll get your blood loss, which will then power you up, making all your subsequent hits do even more damage, and you just start to really pop off with chain hit after chain hit after chain hit. I will admit in PvP the Bloodflame Talons are a little bit more irritating to use. The damage is obviously great, and a couple of them will kill basically anyone, but of course the delayed explosion does mean that they're fairly dodgeable, and well, it's not going to save you from 2 people donking you from the air. That said though, Bloodflame Talon does have one really strong advantage, which a lot of incantations and sorceries don't, in that the initial cast to actually rake the air with the talons is really, really quick, and once that has happened, the explosion is going to go off. So even if you get hit, get staggered, get poise broken, knocked out of it, just after doing that, you will still get the explosion, which then of course guarantees you the damage, but also on smaller enemies, there is a lot of stagger damage from this because, yeah, it is an explosion. So it's a much, much safer incantation to use in that instance if you can just find ways to weave it in to your existing damage rotation. So generally speaking, yeah, both these incantations were solid, they were good before, but this little bump of speed and damage across them both has really improved them significantly and has taken them from, yeah, it's fun, thematic, Lord of Blood, okay, to genuinely worth considering, worth using, and really powerful in a lot of situations. It really cannot be overstated how much fun it is just walking in a line, raking after raking after raking, chain casting it, and just watching that damage build as enemies crumble and explode before you. It's good. Real good. So that's about that then. I hope you have enjoyed this and indeed have some new incantations to go consider. Like if you did, subscribe and hit the bell for more so you don't miss more little experiments, looks, builds, all of that good Elden Ring stuff. Until we meet again, a goodbye.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.